Have you ever done something you regretted? Something you can't tell your friends the next day? Something you would never tell your friends the next day? Well, last year, I was a rookie with the Marching Southerners, and each week we had a different assignment. This week's assignment was to cross-dress. So I went to my girlfriend Hannah and asked for her old French maid outfit with a bonnet and apron included. After practice that day, I came home and she was taking pictures in the house, and her roommate walked in and demanded a picture of me. So to save my dignity, I ran down the hallway crying and screaming like a little girl. There's many door frames in this house, and while I was running and jumping as fast as I could to get away from her, I hit my head on the top of a door frame, landed on my back, and went all the way across the kitchen until I ran into the oven. My forehead hurt really bad, so I covered my face, and then I noticed that there was blood pouring down my forehead. So immediately, we jumped into the car and went to the hospital just a couple miles away. We got checked into the hospital while the nurse looked at me quite funny. There was only a couple people in there, and they also quite looked at me funny. So soon they came out, and they got me and took me to my room. On the way to my room, there was a couple nurses and doctors, and they just giggled as I walked past them. It didn't hurt my feelings. My head was hurting way too bad for that. So I got to the room, and the nurse came in and checked my vitals. So then the doctor finally came, and he wanted to numb my forehead. He grabbed a needle and started applying the numbing medicine into my forehead. Midway through, the needle just burst, leaving the needle stuck in my forehead, and him just looking at it like nothing had ever happened like this before. So quickly he ran out to the outside and asked the other nurses and doctors if they had also had the same problem. They looked in and saw what I was wearing and just kind of giggled. And they replied no, they'd never had that happen. So he didn't think anything of it. He walked back in, just grabbed another needle, and put it back in the same spot, and kept going. Then, he started putting the staples in. He put all 12 staples in my forehead before realizing that he had not done what he wanted. There must have been something wrong with it. He looked at it quite funny. So, he grabbed the staple taker-outy thingy, and took half them out, replaced them with new, and then took the other half out and replaced them with more staples. He still had the same amount of staples, but these were new and better staples in a better spot. So then he patched me up, they got the rest of my information, and I went home. My forehead hurt for days. They told me I couldn't shower for at least 3 days. My hair was a mess, and there was still blood and crust all on my forehead. So, this is a lesson that I would tell my friends and my children. Mostly my children. My friends do not need to know this message. So, what I've learned from this is that you should never wear a maid outfit. You should never run and jump through the house, especially if the house has many door frames like ours.